Hey there, everyone.
Nate, you know what? I didn't want to have to do this. Underoos? Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Well, that's a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing that happened.
All right, so...
how's it going back there?
Yeah.
You doing good?
You
good?
You hanging out?
Hey, guys.
Hey. All right.
All right, so Civil War is on the horizon. And by horizon, I mean releasing this frickin' week by the time you're seeing this. By the time we're recording this, it's actually 5 days, exactly, count them up, 5 days away. And
I did not realize it was that close.
Yeah, so
it's really close.
Oh, dear.
It will be releasing this week. So, in honor of that...
and because the chat demanded it.
Yes, the chat demanded this. We are now going to do the top 11 dumbest Spider-Man moments. Brought to you by Doug Walker, the Nostalgia Critic.
Not sure I'm ready for this.
I don't know that anyone is ready for this.
Okay. Let's just clear the air here. They don't have a top 11 dumbest Avengers. And also, Doug Walker really, outside of Disney Simber, has not touched any of the Marvel movies.
Which is weird.
Which is kind of weird. Well, which is the Disney Marvel movies. The 20th Century Fox and the the other and the Sony Spider-Man.
Yeah, those are fair
game. Sony Disney now, because Sony is kind of doing like co-producing with Disney Marvel Studios for the new Spider-Man movie Homecoming,
which means we might get good Spider-Man movies.
Well, Tony Stark's going to be in it, so.
Then we're definitely getting good Spider-Man movies.
So anyway, we've elected to do this, plus the chat demanded it.
Yep.
And let's see if we recognize any of these that are on here.
I'm sure that we will.
So here we go.
And with any luck, I too can learn not to like every single movie I see.
Thank you, Chester.
Chester E. Bum.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. And...
Come on. It's all right. You're among friends.
What are you doing?
Team Rocket.
Yep.
I kind of like Spider-Man 3.
Please, no. That dude was selling it.
I do. I like Spider-Man 3.
Wow.
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. I like it about as much as I like the other Spider-Man movies. Which, let's be honest, people, are stupid movies. I mean, I love them. I really do. In the same way that I love the first two Superman movies, even though they were goofy. But they're just straight up silly. Then again, what do you expect when your main character looks like this? Or even this. I guess I didn't understand why the last film got so ridiculed when it seemed like the other two movies had just as many weird moments. Granted, they all had some good action scenes and they did address the dilemmas of being a superhero, but are we just going to ignore the really dumb moments? All those strange scenes that had us wondering if they were supposed to be funny or dramatic? It's hard to tell sometimes, isn't it? We hear about the guilt a college boy feels having maybe caused the death of his uncle, immediately followed by a giant octopus man putting together a death machine. Don't always go hand in hand, do they? These movies may be fun, but they were pretty loopy, too. And I'm here to count down the top 11 weirdest moments in the Spider-Man movies. Why top 11? Because I like to go one step beyond. So, sit back and enjoy the top 11 dumbest Spider-Man moments.
Willem Dafoe. Oh, that was bad. That one was pretty bad.
Yeah, the running straight into...
Oh, so pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, ham it up there, Dafoe. But we love it. We love it, Denise.
I mean, there was a firefight.
actually named one of the episodes of our Mass Effect.
Number 11.
That.
Good.
There was a firefight.
Those friggin' American flags.
Yeah.
Not like any American, I'm proud of my country. It's a great place to be and I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. But after 9/11, we seem to really want to remind ourselves of that over and over. Let me explain. Before 9/11, there was an ad for Spider-Man that you actually can't see anymore. It was a teaser trailer that showed a bunch of thieves escaping in a helicopter.
I know what he's going for here.
Wait, Payday 2?
Yeah, I remember this. The web between the...
But then they get caught in a giant spider web between the World Trade Center. Yep. We back out and see the image of Spider-Man's eye and everybody goes nuts. They love it. It was a great trailer. There was even a poster that had that same image in Spider-Man's eyes.
Yep.
But after 9/11 happened, that trailer suddenly seemed inappropriate and was cut from the movie theaters. Hell, even the poster was scrapped. And not to sound like a conspiracy nut, but I think this scene was in the movie. I think this was the big reveal of Spider-Man. You ever notice in the first film he has no real big reveal, he's just sort of there?
Yeah.
I think this is how they did it, but then cut it out at the last second. But again, I'm just speculating. So to make up for it,
right.
like every movie that came out right after 9/11, they put a big American flag in there. And of course, the post-9/11 crowd loved it. Yeah, it's a bit hokey now, but you could excuse the first film as it was reacting to the emotions of the American people at the time.
Yeah.
But by the time the third film did it, the gimmick wore out its welcome. It was years later, and now it seemed like it was going from kind of forceful to uncomfortably forceful. You don't need to hammer in that Spider-Man's American. His freaking colors are red, white, and blue. How much more
red,
American can you get?
Blue and
Oh, well.
red,
Maybe
blue,
this
blue,
one's
white.
kinda
There's a little white in
nitpicky,
there.
but
The white
we're
for
just
the
at the
eyes.
bottom of the
Yeah,
list,
yeah,
and there's a
I see
lot more
those.
goofy moments to go.
But the black, the black and blue.
yeah.
Number 10.
All right.
All those pointless characters. Maybe in the comics these characters played a bigger role, but in the movies, they just seem to have no purpose but to show that these people, well, were put in the movie. The teacher who eventually becomes Lizard Man in the comics, they don't count because, well, he actually does help Peter out in the movies. But what about characters like Gwen Stacy? From what I understand, she had a
Gwen
really
Stacy.
big role in the
Yeah.
comics. In fact, she was supposed to be the one that was hanging on the bridge when the Green Goblin makes
Yep.
that big drop.
Yep.
I don't want to give anything away, but she's dead. In the movie, she's
I'm pretty
just
sure
sort
that
of
was
a throwaway character. Yeah,
Dr.
Peter dates her
Octopus.
for a second, but then she just
Original.
vanishes. It'd be cooler
Yeah,
if
it's
maybe
true.
she was the first girlfriend and then maybe Mary Jane comes in, but I'm probably thinking too
Just
hard
like
about
it was in the.
How about Dr. Octopus's wife? You'd think her death would have like a huge impact on him, but he's like,
My Rosie's dead.
whatever, I can get another one. Now how about that killer son thing I was working on? But the biggest one to me has to be the astronaut from Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
guy is not only an astronaut, but he's also
yeah,
the
Jameson's
son
kid,
of Peter's
right?
boss, Jameson.
Yeah.
And he's also
Played
marrying
brilliantly
Mary
by J.K.
Jane.
Simmons.
Those are some big-ass
Yep.
qualities about him. And what do you remember about him?
That
Not
felt
a
really
goddamn
forced.
thing.
Yeah.
You'd think this guy would
I mean,
be
he's an
really
important character in the
interesting and
comics.
probably play a big part,
Yeah.
seeing what an impact he makes on everybody.
But-
And I guess he really doesn't make an impact on anybody. Mary Jane and him share maybe 2 scenes together. Him and his father don't share any scenes together. And we never see him do anything space-related. What was the purpose of this guy? Just someone for Mary Jane to leave? That's pretty weak. Actually, I always thought maybe he was gonna be Venom. Wouldn't that make a lot of sense? You could have him go into space, find this thing, and then have it get attached to him. And he
That's
would have reason
actually
to go
what
after Peter
happens.
who
Yeah.
stole his woman. It'd be a lot better than
He
getting
doesn't get
Tweed
attached
from
to
that
him,
70s
but-
show
He
and hastily
piggybacks on
putting
the
a
show, yeah.
backstory together
Yeah.
for him. At least
Yeah.
this guy did have a backstory going, even if it did lead to no character. Hell, Bruce Campbell was more developed than him. That is,
But he's Bruce
three of
Campbell.
them.
Look at that
Oh,
chin,
and there's
though.
also the landlord's daughter, the newspaper lady, the Green Goblin's butler, Mary Jane's parents. All of them have little to do with anything. And when they do, it either leads to nothing or just comes out of nowhere. I think a guy who dresses up like a voodoo pincushion is enough to hold a movie, guys. You don't need to develop all these characters, or
Whoops.
if you do,
Don't worry,
actually
I'll
develop
fix it later.
Yeah. Fix it in post.
Fix it in post.
We'll do it live. F it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Had a moment.
the extras in Spider-Man 2. Sort of a weird thing to comment
there,
on,
Joey
but
Diaz.
have you ever noticed
Doing
how
any heroin?
hokey the acting was in
He was probably high
Spider-Man
on
2?
heroin right there.
Not really from the main actors, they held up okay. I'm talking about the extras, the people in the background. I don't know, they just never seem to talk right to me.
It's a web.
Yeah.
Go, Spidey, go!
What is she, Spidey's girlfriend? And for that matter, does she kind of look creepy to you? She friggin' looks possessed.
Got the big eyes.
Oh my
No, don't do
How about
that.
that weird guy in the elevator?
Well, Hal Sparks.
uncomfortable. It gets kind of itchy.
Right.
Yeah.
It rides up in the crotch a little bit too.
Well, to be fair, he switched out of that suit because it would have given him all over athlete's foot.
Yeah.
How long are they gonna hold on this guy?
Yeah, that scene didn't make much sense to me. Hal Sparks is a funny guy, but
Yeah.
Cut! Remember
Cut.
that weird bank teller?
Oh, that boy of yours
Oh,
is
Joel
a real
McHale?
hero.
It's ironic because he's Spider-Man. You also got this awkward firefighter.
this guy.
Yeah, some guts, kid.
This guy.
Some poor soul got trapped on the 4th floor.
What is he, a Vulcan? Show some emotion, guy.
Yeah,
For
that's-
God's sakes, they're firefighters. Don't they see dead people all the time?
some poor soul got trapped on the fourth
Yeah,
floor.
that's real.
Oh, real nice, Lou. Just say that in front of the kid I just said has guts.
Yeah.
Maybe that would mess him up. Maybe he dresses up like a spider and saves people. You ever think of that, Lou? How about the train scene? I think the kids are the best actors here.
Yeah.
He's mine!
You want to get to him, you got to go through me.
Yeah, Joey Diaz.
And me.
Me
and
too.
me.
And me.
And me. And me.
And me.
Plus,
Charles
what the hell are
Grodin,
Big
really?
Pussy and Dr. Katz doing there? I think my favorite, though, has got to be that screaming woman in
Yeah,
the
this
building
one
dying.
Oh,
every
yeah.
time.
Me. I laughed when I saw this. And she just runs at the camera and...
An arm! A robotic arm! Apocalypse!
Yep.
Speaking of which, that's another possessed-looking face, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's
Think about
the
Maybe
guy
another
responsible
nitpick,
for
but
this,
the
though.
extras
Hey,
in this
Phil
movie
Lamar.
just
That
never
was like
seem
straight out of
natural
Evil
to
Dead.
me.
Yeah.
But again, this
Yeah.
is a movie with an 8-legged doctor.
Well, think
How
about who
natural can it
directed
get?
it.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
yeah.
Number 8.
Okay.
The effects in Spider-Man 1. As the
Yeah.
films moved on, the effects got better and better.
Yeah.
By the time
They
2
did.
and 3 came around, they looked damn amazing. But in the
Yeah.
first movie, they were pretty off. Come on, did you ever believe he was really holding that car of children? Look at the Green Goblin. Did you ever believe he was really there flying around?
No.
I think the
No.
action figure looked more realistic. How about when Spider-Man was first jumping?
Yeah, that's
It's like a
real.
reject from the Toy Story movies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Some things were cool, like the Spidey sense and even 1 or 2 moments of him swinging around. But most of the time, I just felt like I was watching the video game for the movie as opposed to the actual movie itself.
Yeah, the floats were weird.
Which actually, the video game actually was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good game.
There's a scene where he jumps from a smaller building all the way to one that seems 3 times
That's the
its
Empire
size.
State
Just how
Building.
far
Yeah.
can this guy jump
physics
anyway?
don't really work
It's
out on
funny
that. No,
because
they really
the
don't.
Spider-Man suit itself actually sort of looks computer generated. So you'd think it would transfer well when they actually do have to animate him. Well, in the later films it does, in the first film it doesn't. But hey, at least they did get better. I mean, it could be worse. You could go the route of the Ninja Turtle movies and constantly make the effects worse and worse. To the point where Spider-Man was an animatronic puppet. But luckily they haven't gone that route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yet.
And so far as
Number
I've seen,
7.
they are.
Yeah.
Little to no Venom in Spider-Man 3.
Yes.
I might have mentioned before that I didn't read Spider-Man
Yes.
that much, but when I did, it always had Venom in it. He was my favorite Spider-Man villain, and everybody was
everyone's
hyped to see him in the
favorite
third
villain.
film. I'll admit I thought Topher
Favorite.
Grace was a
Favorite.
weird
Sorry.
choice, but when I saw him in his
I was
role,
trying to say
don't
favorite
think he did
villain
that
at the
bad.
same time.
Nothing
I
great,
know.
but nothing terrible.
It's okay.
And of course, when Venom finally did
Now,
pop
you see,
up, he
that- he
looked
looks good
great.
right there.
The sharp teeth, the
Yeah.
gooey black skin. He was a little scrawny, but he still looked great. And it was wonderful to finally see him on the big screen. For a whole 10 minutes!
Yeah.
Like everyone else, I was pissed at how little screen time Venom got. In the comic, the suit tortured him. It tore him apart, but he was hopelessly addicted to it. That alone could fill an entire movie. But
Yeah.
instead, he's mixed in with a ton of other wrestling plot points that he's only given a few minutes at the end. And even then, most of the time, his face is peeled back. Yeah, he has sharp teeth. Great, go back to the monster! I'd probably be okay with it if I knew they were gonna bring him back for a sequel, but no. Spidey nukes the bastard and we never see him again. The flying spider balls! They should have just held off putting him in this movie, or maybe ended with the transformation of him and build it up for the next one. But no, he's there for a second
talked
and then
about
Venom
that,
goes,
Yeah.
what a fucking load! The one Spider-Man villain I think everybody wanted to see, and he gets nudged to the side by Emo Peter. Oh yeah, we'll get to him later. I guess it was
boy.
good to see him, especially seeing how they're not continuing this particular story chain anymore. But man, like everyone else, I wish I could have seen a lot more of him. Not in that way!
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Number 6.
All right.
That cock tease romance. Okay, so Peter has the hots for Mary Jane. Whoop-de-doo. What does he do? Acts like a pussy and never talks to her despite the fact that he lives right next door to her. How is that possible? She's got a boyfriend, but he breaks it up because...
Played by Joe
he's a
Manganiello.
fucking idiot. Does Peter move in? No. His best friend does. They continue to make googly eyes at each other until finally Mary Jane breaks up with the best friend.
No,
just
I
as his
love
father
the
fucking dies.
air.
Ouch.
Huh.
So now
Anyway,
Peter moves in, right? No, he's afraid that if his enemies find out who he is, they'll try to kidnap her to get to him. Well, that's okay. Your stupid old aunt is for that. She's been held hostage more time than a video game princess. So she hooks up with that
Poor
astronaut
Aunt
guy
May.
who's so charming with his one fucking line, and then Peter acts like he's interested again. She gets proposed to and even says yes, but still wants to be with Peter, which is great because he wants to be with her. Oh wait, now he doesn't. Business first, bitch. So she finds out who he really is, and they agree they should stay separate because of the danger involved. But then she says, fuck Neil Armstrong, I'm gonna go with the pussy in the red pajamas. When he warns her about all the danger she could be in, she points out that even before she knew he was Spider-Man, she was getting fucking kidnapped all the time. So might as well have the sex. They finally get together, only to have Harry blackmail her into breaking up with him. Why? Because he'll kill Peter if she doesn't.
Tell
Did you just
Peter.
forget that Peter
He can
and Spider-Man
handle
are the same
himself.
person?
Yeah.
Just tell the friggin' idiot. Go up to him and say,
It
hey,
infuriates,
Harry got
movies
his memory
infuriate
back.
me where
He's
if
right
they
over
would
there.
just talk
Beat the
a little
shit out of
bit.
him. But no, she breaks up with him and never explains why. What a shame. He was gonna marry her and they were gonna live in, I don't know, an even bigger closet. But that's okay. Another random kidnapping will solve that. He saves her life, of course, and they end up dancing. Did any of this bring them closer together? I don't know, but seriously, you two need counseling!
I will say this: Gwen Stacy in the Amazing Spider-Man series, much better.
Dr. Octopus's robotic
much better
arms.
character.
Okay, why do these things have
romance is
artificial
better.
intelligence? I mean, what's the point? It's like giving AI to one of those robotic arms you get at the toy store. There's no need for it. You push a button, it grabs stuff. Easy.
Couldn't that make you vulnerable to them?
How right you are. Which is why I developed this inhibitor chip to protect my higher brain function. It means I maintain control of these arms instead of them controlling me.
And even then, how far does the AI go? In the movie, the AI convinces him to finish the experiment by robbing banks, killing doctors, and hanging old ladies out of tall buildings.
Butterfingers.
What crazy, fucked up idiot invented these things? Oh yeah, the crazy, fucked up idiot who stole the idol from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Alfred Molina's the best.
Just
Alfred
to make it
Molina is
even
awesome.
goofier, the arms actually talk to him. Yeah, they don't say words, but they actually do talk to him. It's like a mechanical version of Lamb Chop Sing-Along.
Some people started singing.
Oh no!
What the hell
No!
do you think
Well,
those
that
things
got
are even
weird.
saying to him anyway? Hello, Octi. What do you think we should do today?
Rob a bank.
A little dark for you, isn't it? Okay. Hell,
I
the
did
arms
think
even
the design
scream
was
with
pretty
him when he
cool,
finds
too.
out everything's gone wrong.
Oh, the design.
Yeah, there's pseudoscience and then there's so-so science. And this is just silly. You know, I sort of miss my wife. Fuck her! Okay! Fuck her.
I wonder how many takes he had to do for that.
I don't know.
Enough.
He got it done.
Dialogue from Spider-Man 1.
Ye-
Yeah.
David Koepp is one of Hollywood's most famous
Cap.
writers. He's written big hits like Jurassic Park, Death Becomes Her, and Panic Room. But he's also written some major stinkers like War of the Worlds, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and The Lost World. To me, he seems
So
like
he's
a better
responsible.
storyman than he does a dialogue writer. And this really shows in Spider-Man. The story is actually pretty well paced and put together. Dialogue, on the other hand,
And when she got out of the car and you saw
Yeah,
her
this
for
dialogue.
the first time,
Dialogue.
you grabbed me.
Some
and
people
said,
are really good at
"Aunt May?
dialogue. Lawrence
Aunt
Kasdan is
May?
one of the best at dialogue.
Is that an
And
angel?
so's Bill Monahan.
Are you an angel?
You have a knack for saving my life. I think I have a superhero stalker.
did I really just hear that?
What
Yes.
about my generous proposal?
Oh,
are
yes,
you in
this-
or are you out? It's you who's out, Gobby. Out of your mind.
Okay, that's just straight up Adam West territory.
Yeah, you're not
Commentary, You
wrong.
can hear Kristen
Oh, yeah.
Dunst make fun of it.
That's such a cheese line.
That's pretty bad.
Kirsten Dunst.
Slime? Really? He just called him slime? That's an insult that's still being used?
You got better.
In fact, was
you
it
could do
ever
better than
being
that.
used?
We'll meet again, Spider-Man!
Damn it.
Jesus, this is sounding like, well, a comic book. Which, yeah, obviously it's based on a comic book. Maybe
But
that's
it's
the idea.
not in a good
it's
way.
supposed to be a movie.
No, there's some things
And
that
a movie
work
for
in the
adults for
film
that.
lexicon that
These are
works in
sounding like
comics.
lines you
Yep.
hear
But
from a Ninja
dialogue-
Turtles cartoon.
Join me, Turtles. Are you in or are you out?
Hey, you're the one who's out, Chrome Dome. Out of your mind. Yeah, cowabunga. I'm funny. How about that painfully forced scene with the New Yorker standing triumphant
Oh,
against,
yeah, that.
well, a flying green goblin?
You mess with mine, you mess with New York! You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us!
It was after 9/11, folks. We really felt that spirit, even though it was a little corny. Sorry. Well, there's no denying that the lines in this movie certainly sound like a comic book. I just wish it didn't sound like a 1960s comic book.
It's you who's out, Gobby. Out of your mind.
Ugh.
Sucks.
You tell him, Bruce.
You tell him, Bruce. Oh, Bruce.
Emo Peter.
Wait, this is only 3?
Emo Peter's
Here
got to
we
be one of
go.
the most hated aspects of Spider-Man 3.
Uh-huh.
If not all the Spider-Man movies. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't understand why. Again, when I did read Spider-Man, I dug the stuff with the alien suit. In fact, that's one of the only Spider-Man collections I have.
Awesome.
I knew the story. Peter is
Yeah.
supposed to be tortured by the suit, the same way a crack addict is, or Goblin was from Lord of the Rings.
It's
one
an
of those
addiction.
tragic attractions
Yeah.
that just kept
Addiction,
killing.
because it makes you
And it
more
was
powerful.
good. It was a good story. While that was tragic, though, Peter goes more for comedy. And it's just geeky. I know that's weird me saying that, but it's just geeky. I mean, yeah, he's a geek. I got that, but this is
That's
pushing it.
awful.
If they went for a more serious route, this movie could have actually been more effective. But when you see him dancing like that and acting so goofy, it's hard to get sucked into the torment he's supposed to be feeling. He doesn't
It's
have to
awful.
dress different or comb his hair down. Frodo didn't need to do that. The people in Requiem for a Dream didn't need to do that. They don't need to look that way. They just need to act that way.
You don't need to
Just
do the
show
hair
the
flip.
serious side of the addiction.
Don't.
A little comedy's okay, but this is borderline Edward territory. When he
Oh.
does finally act mean and crazy, it's not really believable. Except maybe the stuff with the Sandman, but
Yeah.
that's identifiable. He killed his own.
That was actually
That
a
and
pretty
you can't
good
see
fight.
the hair
I
coming
liked
from his
it.
Yeah.
mask. But trust me, if he could, he would. And on a side note, I was really looking forward to that dream sequence done in the comic.
Yeah,
Especially
they did that
as
in the
Sam
animated
Raimi
series
was
as
doing
well,
it.
and it
It
was
was
Yeah.
in the comic,
Yeah, they
it was even
did.
in the cartoon. It'd be a fitting way to show the struggle that was going on in Pete's head. But nope, we got chocolate chip cookies and milk.
That was a weird scene too.
Badass.
That was only
Connors, hello.
that was only number 3.
Yeah, I'm scared.
Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin.
Oh,
When
God.
Willem Dafoe
Yeah,
was
all
gonna be
right.
the Green Goblin, I was hyped. I was like, oh yeah, that's the perfect choice, no question about it. But when he goes over the top, he really goes over the top.
So many good things all happening for you. All for you.
I guess that fucking costume didn't help much either. Did you ever see the original designs? They were actually pretty creative.
Looked like
and
some of
awesome.
my HRV
And yet
girls.
this
Yeah.
is what they went with? No wonder he turned in the performance he did.
Think about it, hero!
Yeah, it's
The acting
awful.
is traditional over-the-top Jekyll and Hyde. He changes his voice, makes big creepy faces, and plays innocent and meek when he has to confront his other self. Of course, every time you saw him on screen before the transformation, he was a threatening and demanding person. But as soon as he has to act against himself, he's a frightened, scared little bird.
You killed them. We killed them.
We?
Remember?
It's a trick actors love to use, overcompensating one side to make the other side look more threatening. It
Yeah.
looks silly, but it looks silly.
Imagine if he joined us.
I'm also shocked that this guy uses gas in a building miles high where the wind can blow it away. And on top of that, he actually says sleep. Don't you love it
Yeah.
when you attack somebody, how you tell them to be attacked?
Hey, what can I do for you? You will please be unconscious.
What the hell was that sound? What, was he passing gas while passing gas? Every time he was on screen, I didn't know how people didn't just burst out into laughing. I mean, look at this moment.
We can destroy him.
I can't.
Betrayal must not be countenanced.
It's a fucking Walmart mask on a chair. Was this really supposed to be threatening?
Make him wish he were dead.
Yes.
And then grant his wish.
But how?
You're a dirty little kitty, aren't you? He does everything over-the-top villains do. He laughs, he says cliched lines, he even sings.
Itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout.
Yeah.
When will the overacting ever stop? How about that scene where he makes Peter's aunt finish the prayer?
Yes.
That's... I don't know what that is.
Finish it! Finish it!
Not actually the end of it.
Tonight on
No, it's
America's
not.
funniest prayer recitals. But the weirdest moment, and isn't that saying a great deal, is when they're on the rooftop and they're just talking.
Well, to each his own. I chose my path, you chose the way of the hero. And they found you amusing for
He's always
a while.
squatting.
No. Nobody can have a conversation wearing these costumes. It's just impossible. One of you has to laugh.
I could squash you like a bug right now.
I know I lost it when I saw the Green Goblin do this.
Here's the real truth.
It's got to be the silliest image ever. Is he trying to act like he's just at the water cooler? Hey, Spider-Man, yo, rap with me, brother. Not to say I don't have fun
Maybe
watching
that's why Doug
it,
quit his
I
job.
do, but if it's supposed to be taken seriously, well, I think the Green Goblin put it best.
Misery, misery, misery. That's what you've chosen.
That fight scene there, though, I liked it a lot. That
Yeah.
fight scene at the end of the first.
Spider-Man
All right.
is the dance scene.
Yes!
Yeah,
Oh,
I like Spider-Man
yeah, it's
3,
real
but
bad.
Anyone can tell you that this is the dumbest thing ever. It breaks the mood. It changes everything. It sucks out any amount of seriousness you were going for. Let me tell you, when people saw this poster and they saw this trailer, this is not what they were expecting to see. This is straight up Jerry Lewis, right out of The Nutty Professor. Even by
Yeah,
Spider-Man
it actually
movie
is.
standards, this is too silly.
Oh,
It's like
the
if
the
Superman
blonde
got
hair
on
back,
stage
yeah.
and tap danced, or if Wolverine went to a burlesque and did the can-can, or if... No! That did not happen! But what bothered me personally about this
Wow.
scene is the scene that follows. We go from something so silly and so over the top to Peter hitting his girlfriend and then crouched over a church. Now, obviously, this is your big emotional moment of the movie. But a few seconds ago, it was followed by this. That doesn't work. You can't
No, it
throw
doesn't.
all those things together one after another.
And it's like
I'm a monster.
the worst part of that for me is
I
like
mean, look
you
at
know
this.
Gwen
If
having
I
to
just
act like
showed
she's
you
super
this
turned
without
on by
any
it. It's like, yeah, I'm
context,
totally gonna
would
dance
you
with that.
ever guess
Like,
that this was from a
right?
Spider-Man
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah.
No, you'd say it was
Don't
an
get me wrong.
outtake
I mean,
from
if
the
I
movie
walked into a
Chicago.
club and did that, like
even
I'd get
Chicago
every
would be
drink
this
thrown in
silly.
my face.
For many
Yeah, they'd
people,
kill you.
This is
Yeah.
what killed
They would
Spider-Man
beat
3
they would
for
beat
them.
you down
This
with
was
clubs
the
and be
step
like,
that
"What are you
went too
doing
far.
here?"
They could
You
survive
just
Sonic
defined-
Knuckles, they could even survive Emo Peter, but they couldn't survive this. It was too cartoony, too out of nowhere, and too far removed from anything that people would consider Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
So
no
yeah,
way anyone
Spider-Man
would be
3
attracted
has
to
the
that.
absolute
Sorry.
worst moment of all the movies, but does that mean it deserves to be shunned away from the others? Why was this one deemed so terrible when the other two had silly moments as well? My
Lack
thought
of
is it's one of two
concentration, that's
reasons.
why.
Either
Yeah.
audiences were
Because-
finally sick of all the silliness and wanted a more
I'll-
grown-up
I'll-
comic
we'll
book
elaborate
movie.
on this
Thank
after.
Yeah.
you. Or maybe Sam Raimi pushed the boundaries of what he could get away with and simply went too far. I personally would like to see a more serious Spider-Man movie made. I know Sam Raimi can direct serious films, I mean really good ones. So I guess I
Yeah.
was a little disappointed when I saw the tone these movies were going for. But when I calmed down, I did see the hard work that was put into them and how a lot of the issues they discussed do still hold up. Like I said though, I just wouldn't take it too seriously. It's goofy fun action that actually does have some dramatic moments every once in a while. They're not masterpieces, but I don't think they're supposed to be. They're just silly comic book movies, nothing more. I keep hearing they're gonna do a reboot of these movies, and I have to be honest, I'm pretty curious to see them. Maybe the new films will find that more serious road, which I'll admit is a challenge. Costume heroes are hard to take seriously. But movies have shown that it not only can be done, but it can be done very well. And until that reboot comes out, I'm gonna enjoy all the silliness and over-the-top scenes that these movies have to offer.
Okay.
Every
I'd like to
wet,
point
slinging
out
minute of it.
there was absolutely
nostalgia
a smash cut to a
remember,
bleached
so
white
you don't
skeleton
have to.
in there, which is truly the ultimate punchline.
Several bleach white skeletons.
Yes. So, all right. Why do we hate Spider-Man 3? Here's a good one for you.
Go ahead.
The fact that you had an interesting villain. You had a very interesting villain. The way that they portrayed Sandman in that was beautiful.
Thomas Hayden Church was a phenomenal pick. When I heard he was playing Sandman, I was really excited.
Yes.
Super excited.
Yes.
And then, because, we have this interesting villain. We can do so much with this. What did they do? They added 2 more villains.
Dos. 2. Okay.
Which honestly was like villain and a half because then it was like,
And
what do you mean this Spider-Man didn't kill my father? Don't worry, Petey, old buddy, old pal. I'm gonna come save you.
Oh yeah, it only took
You're
the
my-
butler 3 freaking films to tell me the damn truth.
You're my
Oh
best
my
friend.
god.
And actually, I can almost sort of explain where they were going with the AI and the Doc Ock arms.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so the way the human brain is wired, it's very doubtful that he would be able to execute the fine motor control he would need with those arms, having them wired directly to his spinal cord.
That part really didn't bother me.
That part,
no, not at
yeah.
all.
So essentially, what they could do is they could use the AI to compensate for the fine neural control.
Sure.
That's the way I saw it.
Well, my
Yes.
my thing was like basically it was like a miniature sun, so it would have flare ups that you just conceivably couldn't respond to all of them. Multitask.
Yeah, and
therefore,
so subconsciously that would also work.
to
Yeah,
direct
I can
to
see
direct
that.
Another
So-
person would take time that you didn't really have.
that
Exactly.
never really bothered me.
Yeah, so I mean, essentially the AI is functioning almost as an assistant, but also as basically running the actual functions of the arms. So you can say, hey, do this, and they're like, okay, this is how we would do this. This is all the complex
Responds
movements and
intelligently
everything.
to
Yeah.
stimulus.
Okay, and another thing that killed me about the third film, the lack of concentration. We talked about too many villains.
Yeah.
Too many cooks. Too many cooks.
Oh.
Okay. So anyway, their handling of Venom was tremendously awful.
Oh, yeah.
And if they would have taken their time, here's the thing. The same problem that exists. I know we're going to get trashed on this video because, hey, I'm talking bad about Batman versus Superman, and there's a whole lot of people out there that think the film is a paragon of how superhero movies are supposed to be. This is my opinion, guys. If you don't like it, then don't listen. All right.
I mean, no one is saying we are the be-all, end-all.
No. It is a lack of concentration on villains that if you take your time on them, they can pan out to be some of the best.
Yeah,
of the best.
Eddie Brock has a very interesting and well-developed backstory that was not touched at
Yes.
all.
Yeah.
And miscasting.
Exactly.
And don't get me wrong, I love Topher Grace. Topher Grace on that 70s show was awesome. And if he would have bulked up to play Eddie Brock, when he was in the suit, because
yeah,
you see, Topher Grace to me doesn't really have the personality that Eddie Brock exuded in the comics. You see, Eddie Brock really wasn't a weasel. He was a bull-headed photographer. Whereas Peter was a snarky trickster. Eddie Brock was a bullheaded guy that would knock out a security guard just to get a good shot on something.
Yeah.
And he had the ability to do so because he actually was a big guy.
Well, Eddie Brock originally was bullied and actually started weightlifting and became a bully himself to compensate.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah. And you see, Venom. Me and Ben have discussed how could they have handled the Spider-Man. How could they have handled this in the Spider-Man universe?
Yes, I remember this discussion.
And we talked about save the third film. The third film, push. If anything, push Sandman back. Push Sandman back one because there's one thing that has been building up for 3 films that needed some sort of resolution, and that was New Goblin. That was Harry being the Green Goblin, and concentrate the third film on him. And then when the fourth film, to tease the fourth film, show a mission to Mars that's being headed up
by Jameson's son. Which
brings back the symbiote. And when the symbiote comes back,
hitches a ride.
Yeah,
which is how it did.
Kurt Connors is called in to do a investigation on it.
Yeah,
and he happens to call in his star pupil,
Peter Parker.
Peter Parker goes there, and the symbiote senses the power that Peter has. He senses the power,
and he's like, "I want to ride with you."
Yeah, and then the symbiote ekes its way out of containment, follows Peter home, and while Peter is
basically
asleep,
rides home in his backpack,
essentially. And during this time, in the fourth film, you see, the whole thing with Harry has been resolved by this point.
Yeah.
So he is not a factor. He's not a factor.
Which eliminates one of your villains.
Which is
good.
And thus enables you to concentrate on Sandman being the primary antagonist being the perceived primary antagonist.
Yeah.
But eventually, Peter gets taken over by the suit because his will for vengeance against Sandman, because of Flint Marko being the person that shot Uncle Ben, even though
that's never actually, it's not actually true.
Well, yeah. It was a reactionary thing that happened.
Yeah.
And Ben was accidentally shot.
Yeah.
And
he feels real bad about that.
And he's remorseful about it.
Yeah.
And okay, have the first half of the because when he fights Sandman the first time, he gets beat.
Yeah.
He gets beat, and then when he has the Venom suit, he's more powerful, and he's actually able to not only hold his own, but defeat Sandman in some way.
And there was one thing, and I sort of like this idea. I've seen it done a couple of times in different animated shows. Basically, that the Venom suit sort of decides to take Peter's body for a ride at night, and basically goes out and almost tries to destroy Sandman with Peter's body while Peter's asleep.
Yeah, that could be an idea you could elaborate on.
Yeah,
and the whole big showdown instead of Sandman teaming up with Venom, instead it's just a showdown between Eddie Brock, who has been taken over by the Venom suit and is addicted to it.
Yep.
And
it's like, hey, you hate Peter, I hate Peter. Let's do business.
No, instead of that, it's just a solo showdown between Venom,
that's Venom and Eddie Brock.
Okay, yeah.
It's like, you hate Peter, I hate Peter.
And
I think we can work together.
It's his hate for Peter that causes him to just give in to the Venom suit.
Well, that's what draws the Venom suit to him in the first place.
Yes, and you see, they wasted so much potential. And
not only that, the design that they chose for Venom. So there was an event semi recently where it was Dark Avengers, and so Norman Osborn ends up putting together an Avengers team.
Iron Patriot.
Yes.
And basically ends up taking his position, takes both Iron Man and Captain America's position as Iron Patriot. His Spider-Man is Eddie Brock with the Venom suit, but drugged in such a manner that he ends up, Peter-sized, but it also has serious effects on his personality. So, that's the Venom that we saw. We saw like the drugged Eddie Brock trying to pretend to be Spider-Man Venom, not giant hulking monster Venom that everybody wanted to see.
Yeah.
So it's
so the way they handled it was ham-fisted.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, I thought that they were going to do a lot better with the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Okay, the first one, I will say this: they had to, pretty much redo a rehash of the whole of the origin story. I thought they did good. I thought they did good work with it. And I'll say this, and a lot of people are not gonna like it.
Wait for it.
I like Andrew Garfield better as Spider-Man than
Oh,
Tobey
yeah,
Maguire.
no, that's not even like a question.
No. But there are people out there who are still defending and saying that, but Peter Parker is like the quintessential geek, and Tobey Maguire lived up to that. It's just like, but I'm used to the smart-mouth Spider-Man, the snarky one, who is smart and has an intellect, but at the same time...
But also, he's got jokes.
Yeah,
He's got jokes.
No, I'm totally with you guys on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and...
Not to mention, like, after a while, I just couldn't, like... Tobey Maguire's got the bug eyes. And he... and, like... they're bad normally, but it's almost like they emphasize them for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, that's like
his eyes are like halfway out of his skull.
I think that's a little bit of the Sam Raimi direction too, because everything was over the top in that movie.
Maybe.
Yeah, but
because
anyway,
his like the foil to that was like William Dafoe's like squinty face.
Oh, Willem Dafoe is a good actor.
Oh, yes, he is. Tremendous.
Most of the actors in that are good actors.
Yeah.
Yes. Even some background actors. I mean, honestly, Phil LaMarr was in the background in Spider-Man 2 on the train. He was he was over in the... And I love Phil LaMarr. He's one of the best voice actors ever.
And let's be fair, Bruce friggin' Campbell.
Yes, in all three of the first ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah, it is,
Come on.
of course. And he's like this good luck charm.
But, it's like, all right, so we've got all these good actors. How can we ruin this?
Too many villains.
Well, I mean, I went and saw the first Spider-Man in theaters, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. And now going back and looking at it, it's like, no, it wasn't.
No, it
really wasn't.
Cheesy dialogue and.
Well, I mean, what had there really been comic book movie wise before this that
It's
really
true.
tried to be a blockbuster comic book movie? I mean,
Well,
yeah.
Batman.
well, that's true. Well, I guess on the Marvel side.
And
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, on the Marvel side.
Now there
it
was
wasn't
David
much.
Hasselhoff and Nick Fury.
That was a thing. That was a thing that happened.
Of Shield.
Yeah. Okay. So
Now
all right.
that
here's,
was a movie, kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's.
Or you could go back to that first Fantastic Four movie that they did.
Or Dolph Lundgren
I
as
prefer
the
it. I
Punisher.
prefer it over the remake.
Ooh, Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher.
That was a
Ooh.
tremendous movie.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about like Jessica Alba, Fantastic Four.
Oh,
there
I'm
was
talking
one
about-
before
Oh, yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, you're talking about where the thing looked like cooked hamburger.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Well,
I get
there was
that.
also
There was an Avengers. There was Lou Ferrigno's Hulk met up with Thor and Captain America.
Jeez.
That was man.
there was a
That was so awful. It was good.
Those were rough.
there was a movie that was like
Those were
an
rough.
X-Men spin-off that had
At least it's not Turkish Spider-Man, like Turkish Rambo.
ooh.
Turkish Spider-Man. I saw a thing of it. It is hilarious because it shows him like crawling on the wall, and some guy like runs up to him, tries to punch him. He misses, and he's like hanging on the wall, and he punches him in the face. Guy falls down. Another guy comes in, trips him, and then he like fires web up in the air, and the web like cascades down and like lands on top of him. And they're trapped. And I'm just like,
Well, to be fair,
Wow.
nothing's ever going to beat Japanese Spider-Man, where he has a freaking mech. Like he has a
wow.
Gundam.
You know what will beat Japanese Spider-Man, at least in the racism category, is pre-Adam West Batman.
Ooh.
Because it's set in the FDR administration,
Ooh.
and Batman is
Yeah.
praising FDR for locking up, and I quote, those slant-eyed Japs. The wise government locked them up. Yeah. Yeah.
Micah, for the good people out there,
Or no, sorry, the shifty-eyed, not slant-eyed.
for
shifty-eyed.
the good people out in the audience,
My
remind us.
ancestors are Japanese.
There we go. Yes.
I am 25% Japanese. I have
Yeah.
a lot of
There you
hard.
go.
I have a lot of hard feelings against FDR
Yeah.
there you go.
for his concentration camps, full of Japanese Americans.
Who did nothing wrong?
Yes.
Anyway,
All right.
uh,
And that was a line from that
actual Batman line.
Oh,
Jeez.
That's awful.
Okay.
so bad.
So, all right.
All right.
Before we go, one thing that wasn't in this list that made me so happy.
What's
It
that?
made me so happy this wasn't there. Bonsai is ready.
Yeah.
I love that bit
Yeah.
so much.
Macho Man.
Macho
as
Man.
Bonesaw. He fit the part.
He did.
He's like,
yeah.
Like, let me tell you something right now. You coming into Bonsai's house?
There you go.
I got you for 3 minutes.
Got you 3 minutes
It
of
was so good.
playtime.
It was so
What are
good.
you doing up there?
staying away from you. That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you?
Oh. I mean,
Rest in peace, Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Too soon.
I mean, and that scene had Macho Man Randy Savage and Bruce Campbell. That was a great, like, I wish those two had
Really?
worked together
that's your
more.
Name?
You got my name
the human
wrong.
Spider. The human spider.
Spider.
What? It's really your name? It's like, yeah.
God, that sucks.
Here comes the terrifying, the amazing Spider-Man.
That's not my name. And it's like,
Get
look,
out there, you moron.
it's like, look, when Bruce Campbell renames you, you take it.
You take it and
accept
you
it.
run with it.
Yep.
Of course, he took it. I mean, honestly.
And it's just like, well, it's a heck of a lot better than the human spider.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
All right.
So, all right. Final comment for me. For me, there is a perfect Spider-Man film, and it is Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone portraying Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy.
All right.
In Spider-Man 2. To me, that would be probably the perfect Spider-Man movie.
Okay, so the original Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
But bring in Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone.
Yes.
And keep Alfred Molina as Doc Ock.
Yes.
No, I'm on board with this. I love Alfred Molina.
That's almost as good as my recasting of The Dark Knight Rises.
Again with this.
Well, to be fair, though, I think for varying definitions of good, let's be fair, Because Nate's is actually pretty good. Yours is just funny.
Terrifying and hilarious.
Terrifying and hilarious, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So,
maybe one day.
Guys, that's going to be it. We hope you all have enjoyed this. We hope you all are also looking forward to Captain America Civil War, which will feature Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And as always, check the description down below for the original video. Also, check the description for our various other endeavors. And don't forget to leave a comment down below if there's something else you want us to watch. And don't forget to subscribe, guys. We'll see you later. Peace out. Well,
Nate, now you know what? I didn't want to have to do this. Underoos.
Okay, we're gonna have to do Panto face. We're gonna have to keep. Do you want to?
So good. All right, we're doing this.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Reset.
Yep.
We have to keep our.
Micah, that was perfect.
That was.
Ooh,
that was
ooh, with the hood, that's even better now.
Yeah, we have to keep. I'm gonna bite my friggin' lip as hard as I can to keep the Panto face.
All right.
All right. So let's try it again.